Good morning and welcome to Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. And today we're going to be in the book of Zechariah, chapter 2, and we'll be reading verses 1 and 2. And the devotion is titled The Measuring Line. So Zechariah 2, 1 and 2 reads, I lifted up my eyes again and looked, and behold, a man with measuring line in his hand, to measure Jerusalem, to see what is the breadth thereof, and what is the length thereof. A measuring line in prophecy often refers to God checking his people to see how far short they've fallen from his standard of perfection. Romans 3:23 says, For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. However, God's amazing carpenter can justify, make straight every flaw and deviation from the truth. The cross has made you flawless. Many years ago, going through Woodville, Texas at night, there had been a musical jamboree by famous country music stars in the area, and attenders were being stopped frequently and given DUI citations for celebrating too much before driving. A patrolman stopped us because I was weaving back and forth over the solid white line on the right. I had to admit to him that I was holding a cup for my wife to pour milk for our 3 hungry boys in the back seat. My amazing wife displayed the milk carton, and the embarrassed patrolman said, That white line was painted to keep people in the middle of the road. You folks have a good night and keep both hands on the wheel. God is our measuring line for the truth. Jesus raised that bar in Matthew 5:48 when he says, Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Now we will never reach that goal in this life, but if we apply God's perfect standard to everything we do in this life, we will always be reaching higher, never going backward. And our final thought is, with Jesus as our ruler, we will always measure up to the tasks of life. Not only do we apply this lesson when it comes to our spiritual growth, but for any trade or skill that you may have in life, it's constant perfecting of it. If you're an electrician, you never reach a point where you know it all about electricity. If you're a carpenter, you never learn all there is to learn about how to cut and measure wood and build with it. No matter what your trade is, you're constantly seeking better and more perfect ways of applying that skill to your project. There is no such thing as perfection on this side of heaven for us mere mortals, but we are to strive for it. Knowing that no one's going to be perfect at anything, whatever your interests are, whatever your hobbies are, whatever your ministry is, whatever it is that you do in life, you try to do the best you can. And as you do the best you can, you'll learn something new, and then you'll apply that. And the next day you'll learn something new and apply that. Constantly improving and making yourself better. No one, not a single person, has ever mastered to complete perfection any one skill or trade on earth. Yet the Bible tells us we are to strive for that perfection. That's what makes us better and ultimately the best that we can be at any given skill. Knowing full well that tomorrow you may learn something new and get a little bit better. And it's the same way with our spiritual growth. I use those analogies to put it in a frame of mind that all can understand. Christian, non-Christian, believer, non-believer, everybody understands the concept of striving to do better. You practice. Why do athletes practice during the week before the game? Because they want to get better at a skill. If you become stagnant and just stay put, you'll be surpassed by somebody who's working harder and trying to achieve that level of perfection. So it behooves us to constantly strive in our spiritual being to be better and better and better. Now, how do you strive and move forward in your spirit? Well, it's studying the Word of God. You may know God, and I believe you if you say you know God, but the more you read the Bible, the better you know him. till the day he died, Billy Graham I'm sure, every time he opened up the Bible, read something and learned something new from it. Even though he'd read it 1,000,000 times, he learned something new that the scriptures were speaking to him with. And that's how we all should be, constantly striving to improve and be better and better. Because the day will come when we do make it to heaven. And the more knowledge we have, the more spiritual knowledge that we have, the closer the relationship we have with the Lord on this side of heaven will improve that state of perfection in the next level. I hope that makes sense to you. God has commanded us to strive for perfection in all that we do. Do the best you can. Don't just do things halfway. Go all the way and try to excel and exceed your previous standard. Keep raising that bar higher and higher every day. Now, sure, every once in a while you'll have a hiccup and you'll drop back a little bit, but constantly move forward and you'll excel in life. And apply that same concept to your spirit. It'll make you happier, more fulfilled, and you'll get closer to God, which ultimately is our commandment from the Lord. So anyway, with that, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you have a blessed day, and we'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.